Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Gargoyles episode reviews. Today we're looking at Enter Macbeth. While the idea of home is an undercurrent in this series, it's the in-your-face theme of Enter Macbeth. Gargoyles are territorial, so it's no surprise they're attached to the castle. Plus, it's always been their home. But the castle's rightful owner, David Xanatos, will be free in a mere week. Nobody is happy about being roomies. While Goliath procrastinated even thinking about what will happen when their antagonist comes home, David is already mulling his options. That's bad news for the clan, but great news for us fans of villains and antagonists. You guessed it, we're meeting a new, or rather very old, player in the game. You can call him Macbeth. If you missed the deadly force used last week, go read it, or watch it. As usual, spoilers in the 2020 moments, info from Ask Greg is in the According to Greg bits. Season 1, Episode 9, Enter Macbeth, Reasons for Existence, to show what home really is, to enter Macbeth, to move the Gargoyles to the clock tower, to bring Xanatos home. Main antagonists, Macbeth working for David Xanatos. Times, December 27th through the 28th, 1994, and January 4th, 1995. Locations, New York City, New York. And there we open on the sky over the castle on the Erie building, and it's yet another full moon. Home sweet home. We start with a recap. Demona saying her name, Xanatos arrested, Elisa talking about his sentence, Goliath denying the importance of David owning the castle they live in, and Broadway shooting Elisa. This is the recap that I mentioned last ep, the one that bugged me so much because it referenced an ep Toon Disney never aired. Well now, all those elements point to a great ep ahead. Rather than action, there's a nice home life series of scenes, with the clan all cozy in the castle. Broadway cooks, Lexington beats Brooklyn at cards. Here's pictures of both of those. I'm totally not jealous of the kitchen, either. Cards, the classic time killer. They all in that. There they are in that beautiful Great Hall. Hudson and Broadway, Bronx, waste their evening in front of the TV. And Goliath enjoys the massive library that I am in no way jealous of. During the scene, we see the Grimorum Arcanorum still out in the middle of the Great Hall, with everyone acting like it's not the world's most important spellbook. This is what they're watching? You are a grown gargoyle, Hudson. There's Donald Duck. I love it when they reference their own shows. Look at that library. That is huge. Let's talk about something while it's early in the ep. Up to this point in the series, Disney Japan did most of the animation. This ep came from Disney Korea. It is ugly, hideous, cringe-inducing. Look at Goliath in the library. While the background is passable, look at his face. I could draw it better than that. I want to do a post with just an ugly cap from this episode. The feeling I get from this home life scene, which I'm sure was not intended by the writers, is that the gargoyles are basically taking up space. What is their point, their mission? They're mooching off the good graces of Xanatos, who lets them eat his food, use his heat and AC, watch his cable, and read his books. They're not fighting crime, they're killing time. Xanatos, on the other hand, is biding his time. Jailhouse is not a home. David is waiting out the last week of his confinement. I know it's terrible to be in jail, but he looks fairly comfortable. The cell is at least on par with a dorm room. Plus, it's a single occupant. The furnishings are better than my last apartments. I guess being rich and famous gets you perks. Just as a side note, many jails and prisons in more upscale areas of the country have what's called VIP cells, and that you might have a computer, yes, all to yourself, a attached bathroom all to yourself. Usually those people don't mingle with the general population, but sometimes they do. So here we have some pictures on the wall, a big CRT monitor, nice desk, even got a rug. Not bad, really. Put some curtains on that window there and be a regular cell out of Mayberry jail. The calendar drives me up the wall. It's 2 months behind, and it's not even the right year. In 1994, Halloween was on a Monday. Why it's still on his wall, and why the camera focuses on it, I don't know. Halloween is circled, though, so maybe it's just reminding us that Halloween is Oh, Xanatos' favorite holiday? Stupid Korean animation. October 31st was the day he had his sentence finalized and reached his plea deal. But here the days aren't X'd off to that. And trust me, if you're waiting out a date, you're going to be Xing the days off. In reality, it is December 27th. We've conveniently skipped Thanksgiving and Christmas, which is amazing because Gargoyles never really has holiday shows like that. I mean, other than Halloween. And that's just pretty unique. Xanatos probably isn't big into those holidays, or maybe he is, I don't know. He does like holidays, but it's the moral of the thing. He's stuck in jail during the holiday season. We follow through part of his everyday life. The cafeteria is next. Wonder if he's sitting at the cool table? I've no doubt he's someone that the other inmates and the guards respect, or at least let go unmolested. Hey, it really is like college. Or work. He grouses about the food, which probably would be my main complaint too. I take it back. That looks better than the college cafeteria food, or my work cafeteria food in a lot of places. You gonna eat all those hot dogs? But no peanut butter jelly sandwiches in jail. And here's a clip from Barney Fife Scared Straight lecture from the Andy Griffith Show, which you really should watch, and there's the Mayberry jail in the back. But then we have the highlight of his day, Owen visiting. David announced that overall, it's been a learning experience. This is my new description for any experience or situation that pretty much sucked, or even that didn't but wasn't a joy. It takes a rare person to turn adversity into experience. He learned what he could and what he had to from this disaster. He'll never repeat the mistake that got him here. He's turned what his adversaries meant for banishment into a benefit. Like a phoenix, he will rise more powerful than before. Owen mentions the release date, 1 week off. He segues nicely into suggesting, since Xanatos has never said one way or the other, they get rid of the gargoyles in the daytime. It would be easy enough to, smash, bash with the old sledgehammer. Okay, this is what people forget about Owen. Not David, is the one suggesting they turn the gargoyles into fresh gravel for the courtyard. He gets all cheerful when talking about destroying the clan. Xanatos agrees that it would be easy, but it seems like a waste. I gotta agree. He spent an astronomical amount to bring these creatures to life. They're the last of their kind. There has to be some use for them. If he got rid of them, it would be like when you dump that velvet poster of tigers you had since you were 10, only to discover a week later that either it's worth a fortune or it's the perfect touch to your aunt's velvet and tiger decor and it's her birthday. He's giving the idea of smashing the clan due consideration. He's also considering how 100% done he is with this week already. And you gotta wonder, what he's imagining coming home, since the gargoyles are still there. I mean, does he figure he'll just stride back and tell them to leave, or what kind of reception is he expecting? Probably not a good one. And for that matter, what about Goliath? He's supposed to be such this great leader, but he hasn't apparently even considered the idea that Xanatos is coming back, even when he most definitely is. Is Goliath planning to kill him or run him off or what? You sleep in a stone statue all day on Xanatos' castle. You are vulnerable, Goliath. While David wants to give in to the inner hoarder, he admits he can't have them, quote, underfoot when he gets home. I can't imagine it would be very warm welcome. Home he'd get. It's to his credit he hasn't dumped them off the battlements yet, and it's a credit to Owen's restraint as well. Your average antagonist would kill to have his foes turned to stone every night in his backyard. Oh, the possibilities. David Xanatos is a unique fellow. 2020 moment. Normally, you'd need a Cirque du Soleil of writing acrobatics to keep the main antagonist from annihilating the protags if something like this happened. But we know from Double Jeopardy, at least, that Xanatos was reaping some reward from them. He also wants their obedience. As we discussed in Awakening Part 5, robots are fine, but he wants loyalty even more than obedience. This is why he didn't just enslave them. Besides, where's the fun in that? Fair is foul, and foul is fair. A correctional officer with white hair and beard enters. Owen isn't about to get cheated out of his last 10 minutes with his boss, who's about to decide if Owen can finally break out the sledgehammer. But the guard isn't a guard. He's Sean Connery. No, sorry, he's voiced by John Rhys-Davies, aka Gimli from Lord of the Rings. How did he manage this guard deal? It's not easy to fake being a CO. Maybe he was part of the private security some jails hire, or he has connections. The better question is, why? He could just visit David like a normal person once he gets, permission. Macbeth, proving his capabilities, obviously, perhaps. Or he could always contact Owen and set something up. There's a higher security level of visiting in this area. What changed? Were they just remodeling the other room? Yeah, you got the glass in between here separating them. Who is this guy? You can call him Macbeth. Macbeth is a family name in Scotland. I'm related to a sept of Clan Macbeth, I think. So he may not be referencing Shakespeare's Macbeth. At age 10 or 11, I only had an inkling who Macbeth was anyway. According to Greg, the idea of using Shakespeare so heavily, or maybe it's Sir Francis Bacon, I don't know, is Greg's idea. He's a huge fan of the Bard. The references to and characters from the classic works lend depth you won't see in any other Western animated series. You won't see it even in the dramas meant for adults. Macbeth has a proposition, to deal with Xanatos' pest problem. Xanatos would be an awesome poker player because he shows no recognition of these pests, instead denying that he ever called pest control. But Macbeth knows these creatures. Xanatos is willing to hear him out. Possibly Macbeth's background check is hiding in the rafters to David's right. He's looking off into the right while Macbeth talks. I love how he swings around and is really easy in that chair, real casual. Who wouldn't hear him out? When a Scottish man with a noble bearing and powerful build says he knows about a species that's supposed to be a myth and he knows they're in your house, you listen. Wonder what he would have dreamed up if Macbeth never appeared. 2020 moment extra here. I know that we did have the little episode with Double Jeopardy, but it's almost like maybe they could have done more with this whole opportunity of having the gargoyles at the castle, but maybe not. You also got to wonder how Macbeth figured out they were there. It's not like he's on good terms with Demona. Xanatos doesn't know him yet. And I mean, maybe there's some sort of tabloid there that's got pictures, and somehow he thinks just all gargoyles are related to Demona. I don't know. I mean, he's had 1,000 years just like she has to figure out that there's a lot of different clans around. I don't know. There's daggers in men's smiles. And what a smile. I like Macbeth. He's a great character. We don't get to hear what follows with Macbeth because we cut to Macbeth on the highest parapet of the castle, rocking a black long coat and form-fitting Batman armor and looking over the stone clan. Elisa arrives. She's on crutches. See why I was so pissed about missing the previous episode? Also, I don't know if you'd be up and around that quick. I know it's been about a month and a half, and I'm thinking there was some sort of abdominal wound or something. I don't know. It looked like the blood was coming out from there, so it's hard to tell, especially given how much the bullet apparently bounced around. But I would think she'd still be out of commission. All right, I'd want to get out of the castle just to get away from all the cameras. There's Owen watching Macbeth and Elisa interact. Smiling, Macbeth greets her. He announces he knows about the gargoyles. He's very polite, calling her Madam. Antiquated much? Macbeth leaves when Macbeth is good and ready. She tells him to get out. The gargoyles awaken to the newcomer. He offers them a place at his mansion. Well now, this is lucky. Weren't we just talking about getting out of the Antagonist's lair? The other option is the clock tower above the police station. I've never lived in a clock tower, but I've lived next to a cop shop. Sleeping? Yeah, let me play you the song of my people. I picked the mansion, but I guess they don't hear much during their sleep anyway. I'd still pick the mansion. Such horrible animation, though. Gosh. Cute attitudes. Macbeth flips his coat aside to reveal pistols. He won't take no for an answer, though he wouldn't stoop so low as to attack them in the day, which shows he has honor but could use more pragmatism. They're fair game now. You know, Xanatos could have just, I don't know, had them loaded up and moved off somewhere during the day. Just like dump them out in Kansas somewhere or something. Broadway makes a move too, but wow, Macbeth throws him in a way I think is impossible in real life. It's on now. Gas spheres give concealment, while Macbeth electro-nets Lex, Brooklyn, and Bronx. He gave them an offer they couldn't resist. This is one heck of a relocator. So there's Broadway getting thrown and Brooklyn getting zapped. Macbeth even has the night vision goggles. I guess they're kind of like infrared or heat, too. Owen watches the skirmish via the CCTV. It's all fun and games until Macbeth sets a shed on fire. Now we see how Owen feels about the near-nightly destruction of the castle. He's sick of cleaning it up. Xanatos might think it's diverting to blow stuff up, even his own stuff, but he doesn't have to deal with the work crews. Owen probably took over David's office in his boss's absence. See, this is what I was saying about him not being in his own office much. I'm not sure what's going on with the skyline back there. From the angle and the height of that office building, the area building there, he shouldn't be able to see those other buildings. But good old Korean animation studio. Owen storms out to upbraid Macbeth. Xanatos hired him to fumigate, not destroy, the castle. Not even a tool shed shall perish on Owen's watch. 2020 moment. The Puck is yelling at King Macbeth for destroying a garden shed. Macbeth belongs in part to the Weird Sisters, who hate Puck. Puck knows all about it. Macbeth wraps it up, literally, using his vertical takeoff and landing aircraft to hoist Lex, Brooklyn, and Bronx aboard. Goliath makes a valiant but futile effort to save them. There he is, Goliath landing on the front of the vehicle, but doesn't work. Macbeth made a gargoyle-proof craft. Impressive. When Goliath flops to earth, Elisa pounces on him. This is what she's been saying. The bad guys are coming for you. Now this nut might come back in the morning with a sledgehammer. Herg, Elisa, if Xanatos wanted to take out the gargoyles like that, Owen can swing a mean pile driver. They would have been gone on any night between October 8th and now. Trust me. So, consider this a friendly kick in the pants, inviting me to get off his lawn. Did she just slap him? There she is, possibly slapping Goliath. Goliath again refuses to admit they need to move. He's the type of renter you have to evict. In a rage, he glides off to find Macbeth and save the others. Well, this is why this episode I have issues with a bit, because I don't know why Goliath hasn't thought about moving. I just don't understand what he figured was going to happen. That Goliath would be okay with him living there, that they would be okay with, or that Xanatos would be okay with him living there, or that, I don't know. It makes no sense. I bear a charmed life. Now we go to see Macbeth at his home. He has a mansion of mixed architecture hailing from Europe and Scandinavia. It's a beautiful place, but here we go with the full moon stuff. 12/28/94 was a 22% visible waning crescent moon. Focal point is a stained glass window with the silhouette of a man looking up at a gargoyle. They resemble Demona and Macbeth. Interesting. Lexington and Brooklyn are in a cage in the drippy, rat-ridden basement. Bronx is on his own in another cage. Lex has been doing his homework on the Century. He remembers a quote, well, I guess this millennium, a new writer by the name of Shakespeare who wrote about a Macbeth. Oh, look, we have a direct reference to the bard. Odds are his works are related to Macbeth's history, because of Chekhov's gun. Does he have a little notebook, meaning Lex, like Captain America? For the greater good. Back at the castle, Elisa has convinced Hudson and Broadway that she's right. They'll even go against Goliath's direct order. That's some significant sway she holds over these Gargs. They trust her, they know the danger, and they're secretly been wondering about Goliath's choice to remain at the castle. They're sitting dorks, as Broadway puts it, if they stay. Patrick, you've all been sitting dorks since day one. What a motley crew they make. They set off to steal the Grimoire Marcanorum that Elisa returned just a few episodes ago. Yes, the cop is stealing Xanatos' rightful property, but she's doing it for everyone's good. Yes, that's what the government always tells us when they take our stuff. I pointed out back in Temptation that she should have just kept the book. Owen must have been watching the cameras, which is smart considering what just happened, because he intercepts them. Interestingly, he doesn't involve Xanatos Enterprise's security. He stands his ground against two gargoyles who are not leaving till they have the book. Talk to the hand. Soon you'll be talking to the floor. Who's going to stop us? You, Hudson mocks. Hudson reveals what he and probably most of the clan think of Owen. He's only useful as a good-looking personal assistant. We know better, having seen him take on a gangster in the last ep. But can he handle a gargoyle? The gangsters in security services couldn't. Everybody run while you still can. There's Owen taking off his glasses. Indeed, says Owen as he removes his glasses. 2020 moment. Owen's gloves are always off. It's the glasses you gotta worry about. When those come off, the hurt is about to come on. Next thing Hudson knows, he's enjoying a view of the ceiling from his back on the floor. Owen does an excellent unbalancing trick to put him there. Not bad. Owen's no fool, though. He pulls a semi-auto pistol and aims it at Broadway's head. This almost is like spitting in Patrick's face, considering the last episode he shot Elisa in the same type of weapon. Broadway did, obviously. I don't think Owen actually knows Broadway shot Elisa, but that's hard to say. It's really kind of sketchy what everyone knows with that, since no one really should have known anything. Owen Burnett has had enough of your nonsense. Broadway is stunned. He's also lucky David already told Owen that killing the gargoyles would be a waste. But if Broadway makes the first move, then it's self-defense. I have no doubt Owen would shoot Broadway in the face if given the impetus. Elisa turns her crutch into a ranged weapon, knocking Owen's gun offline long enough for Broadway to toss him. Owen sticks a nice break-fall landing, then collects his glasses as the Gargs and Rogue Cop march out. I'm surprised he doesn't call security. He has the right. It'd be ironic if he went to the precinct with the vid footage of her with the Grimoire. Xanatos went to jail for accepting stolen property, and here Elisa is stealing his property. He's brushing himself off. Energy savings. Back in the basement with the rats, Brooklyn is killing time through masochism. Every time he touches the electrified bars, the lights dim from the power draw. He and Lex grab the bars, diverting enough power for Bronx to break free. I don't understand why this is the case. Wouldn't he just hook this up to the wall socket like anything else? I mean, why is there a backup generator? Is the backup generator the main generator, and that's somehow giving electricity to the entire castle? Pretty sure he could afford to have an electric line run out there. I'd have made Bronx divert the power. The writers want us to think Bronx is basically a dog, but he's so much more. He understands words to an extent. He can think tactically. He's more like a really smart parrot or a border collie. That's some major jaw strength. He's just ripping those bars up. Bronx explodes through the front door. If Macbeth didn't have a doggy door at first, he does now. Halftime. This episode introduces the intriguing antagonist. I love the antags who keep their motives a secret. Macbeth is a mystery. He comes to Xanatos saying he knows about the gargoyles and that they're at the Eyrie. This catches even David and Owen by surprise. It's a rare person who can do that. Despite being an antagonist, Macbeth plays it straight. He offers Xanatos a needed service, asks the clan to leave before he attacks, and tells Goliath exactly why he's captured half the clan. It's almost as if he doesn't need to manipulate, as if it's beneath him. If he wants something done, he'll do it, because he has the resources. Xanatos has the resources too, but he enjoys playing people. Demona, well, I think she does have the resources, but she still likes manipulating. Goliath in this ep is showing his stubbornness. He went off alone after refusing to believe the castle is dangerous. Not smart. Elisa is being quite dynamic in this ep, making up for the last week's coma. Then there's Owen. He's living up to his name, strong warrior. read on or watch on for the conclusion of Enter Macbeth. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.